Hello and welcome to the starting guide for the Farclip add-on. This is a design partner tool for developers created to enhance the depth and thoughtfulness of design spaces. It's useful for improving the direction of your concepting or prototyping phases, enhancing the depth of your level design decisions, and even unearthing pre-playtesting bottlenecks that usually don't show up until later on. Each of the tools Farclip provides enables a way for you, the designer, to learn more about the experience that you're creating and shape it into your ideal vision. You can find more in-depth information about each feature with the documentation at docs.farclip.ai. However, today I will show you some simple and useful features as a quick start for you to experience getting started with the Farclip add-on. And if you haven't installed it yet, also, you can check out the install guide for whatever platform you're using in the description. So once you've completed the setup steps, you should be able to see the Farclip overlays like the chat. If it's not here, then you can open it up again with this little button here. But basically, as just a little getting started point off for you guys, I'm going to show you some of what I think is the most useful features and easiest to understand for a new user of the tool. One of the most useful things that Farclip does for me is help identify placement pins. These pins could be anything, where I should probably place coins or where I should hide clues for a murder game or something. You can even ask it to hide collectibles for a platformer game. The possibilities are endless, but this placement pin system is essentially one of the main features that you can ask the AI to generate stuff with. So for example, this is kind of a test little platformer level. Let's see where Farclip thinks the most rewarding spots to place collectibles are. So you can see now it has identified some areas that we could place some collectibles at. You will get some stuff like this sometimes, so like I guess it thinks that this is rewarding because you gotta make a jump to get it, but this also makes sense because you gotta get through all this platforming to get up to this top area right here, so it makes sense to put some collectibles here. But yeah, that is the placement pin. So let's now get into the path generation. Oftentimes we will have a level that flows a certain way, and this is kind of just a natural designer intuition things often, but with Farclip you're able to actually visualize this. So this is what I tell people often is one of the basic and really useful tools that Farclip provides. We'll just ask it to generate common player paths within our level and see what it gives us. And there we go. So it looks like it is kind of just jumping and platforming all over the place. Usually that's how it goes, but you can see the flow. It seems generally things are divided between this central path and this path on the side, while this area is kind of just free roam. This stuff takes actual traversal, and it's like multi-layered, so you can see there's a path at the bottom part down here, but then there's a path that just platforms above, and then there's one that goes around to the side. So you could see an idea of the different flows of the layouts that you've got. Another thing that it can do is analyze the regions of your level. There are often regions in levels that you don't even think about. It kind of just comes naturally. You build spaces that kind of section themselves automatically. But with Farclip, you're able to actually visualize the way that these regions feel segmented out. And you can even get some pacing analysis about each region specifically, so you can see that some regions are more intense than other ones, or some have a like higher pacing. So let's ask it analyze the pacing of these regions. And there we go, there is the pacing curve. You can see that there's kind of a spike, and I'm guessing that's because there's lots of platforming right here, and then it kind of levels out, which makes sense. And then I think the jump in difficulty is because there's just some random high jutting up things here. I don't know, everybody is free to interpret Farclip's responses as they wish, but yeah, I think that hopefully this video has illustrated kind of my process of using Farclip to get certain analytical data about my scene and how I interpret that data and make design decisions based off of them. So from here, after learning the things I've learned, I can imagine that I probably need to add more stuff up here in this region because it is very barren, and this is probably a little too messy. I probably need to fix that up because it looked like this area specifically was confusing it a little bit, and I honestly, as a player, this is just too confusing anyways. And let me give you a little bonus thing, because this is another useful one, and this is also applicable to the situation. you can analyze the clutter to see there's a bunch of stuff bunched around here more than there is over here. So at a distance, you don't even have to really analyze to figure out, hey, this is really badly made right here and it's really clustered. You can just analyze clutter and boom, you can see all of this red stuff, and the more egregious instances are bigger as well, so you can see the size of it is the bigger cluster of clutter. So yeah. And then one last thing that I feel like is pretty useful to know is that if you close one of these menus to make the clutter disappear and you want to see it again, you can see that it added a little clutter button back in the chat message, and I can just click that to open the menu back up and the overlay in the scene. So yeah, that's just one last little tip I feel like is pretty useful. So yeah, anyways, hope you guys found this getting started video helpful, and I hope you have a good one, and I hope you enjoy using Farclip.